What's your most and least favorite Rocket League DLC car? We have ours, and some are sure to spark up a healthy debate in the comments. What's up guys? Welcome to another video. If you're new here, we love dropping great tips, top 10s, and highlights on our channel. Our subscriber growth continues to roll along and we cannot thank you guys enough. If you're not already part of the Top Viral crew, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications by clicking or tapping that bell. Make sure to give this video a like and share it with friends. I'm Jess for Top Viral Gaming, and now let's get into the video. Today we are using a tier list to rank Rocket League DLC cars. For these rankings, I'll be looking at the car's hitbox, the story and references behind the car, and mainly, aesthetics. After all, a lot of these cars are fundamentally the same. It just comes down to looks and if you like the design of a car. You guys have probably seen these tier lists before, but if you haven't, S is the best, and C, it's the worst. Now, just because a car is in the B or C tier, it doesn't mean it's a bad car. It just means aesthetically, it doesn't do it for me. I've got my faves, and I know you have yours. So let's see if we agree on any of them. Alright guys, let's start things off with the Aftershock. Cool name, right? It looks like a little plane, and it kind of sounds like one too, which immediately catches the eye and the ear. The Aftershock has a Dominus hitbox, and you can make it look really cool with some proper customizations. I've gotta wonder though, if you're scared of flying or have had some bad flight experiences, you probably hate this car, right? Luckily, that's not me, so the Aftershock is going into the A tier. Now, let's look at the Masamune. The Masamune is a sports car that looks very similar to an Audi R8, but a bit more futuristic and broken at the same time. It has a Dominus hitbox, and although I can see some people in the comments liking this car, it just doesn't grab my attention or do it for me. I've got to put this one in the B tier. Is it safe to say that everyone should know this next car, right? The Delorean Time Machine. If you're not aware, this is the car from the Back to the Future movie series. When this car was first announced, people were excited to get their hands on it, but the overall feeling was disappointment. However, I tend to disagree with the majority on this one, and I think it's a great looking car. It has the Dominus hitbox and appears to go slower than the other cars, but we can assure you that's just a feeling. I like this one. I'm going to put it in the A tier with the Aftershock. Okay, I have to be blunt with the next one, guys. I'm not a fan of this one. The Proteus looks chunky and rugged. Although it has an Octane hitbox and the driving experience is nice for how it looks, I just expected more visually from a DLC car. Let's get this one in the C tier and move on to the next one. Okay, let's get away from the C tier and do one of my favorites, Bone Shaker. If you've ever played with Hot Wheels growing up as a kid, then you'll recognize this car immediately. Like I said, it's one of my favorite DLC cars. Equipped with an Octane hitbox, this car looks rugged and fierce, and if you want to terrorize your opponents, what's better than a car with a skeleton on it, coupled with an engine growl that just completes the badass Ghost Rider look? This is our first S-tier car on this list, so let's go ahead and drop it in there. Any fans of the Fast and Furious franchise here? Hit that like button if you are. The next car is straight out of the movies, the '99 Nissan Skyline. This car has a hybrid hitbox, and I'll admit, it's a good looking car, but it's just not my taste. I've got this one going into the B tier. Another car straight out of the Fast and Furious universe, the Ice Charger is one of the coolest looking cars used especially in Fate of the Furious. Equipped with the Dominus hitbox, it's a fun car to play around with, but I'm not a fan of how low and flat this car looks. I'm going to put the Ice Charger in the B tier with the '99 Nissan. And now let's do our third Fast and Furious car, the '70s Dodge Charger RT. It's a cool looking car, I'll give you that one, but maybe it's because it's the third one to come from the series that I'm beginning to get tired of seeing all of these Fast and Furious cars. It has a Dominus hitbox, just like the Ice Charger, but it looks even smaller than the Ice Charger when you play with it. Like I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of these flat, smaller looking cars, so this one is going into the B tier alongside with the other two Fast and Furious cars. Now let's jump to the car that's from another movie that I enjoy even more than Fast and Furious series. It's the Batmobile. I mean, come on guys, it's the Batmobile, so this has to be one of the top spots on the list. It would have been ahead of the Bone Shaker if it was more customizable, but that makes sense when you think about the amount of approvals Psyonix would have to get from Warner Brothers in order to make this happen. It has a plank hitbox and it feels fast and badass when you hit crazy shots with it. I'm going to go ahead and put this one into the S tier. And I want to especially mention that it's only behind Bone Shaker in that tier. What do you guys think of our ranking so far? Do you agree with us? Make sure to hit that like button to let us know. Comment down below with which cars you think we got right and which ones we got wrong. Let's do the Marauder now. The Marauder is a cool, beefy looking car that is a much better looking version of the Takumi. It has an Octane hitbox, which makes it a little bit bigger than the other cars, so you can intimidate your opponents. Overall, it's a good looking car that you would want to drive whenever the apocalypse hits. I really dig this one too. I'm going to put it in the S tier as well. Definitely one of my favorites. Let's pull up the Ripper next. Much like the Marauder, the Ripper is also one of those vehicles that you would like to have in an apocalypse. Appearance-wise, I think it's a little less cooler than the Marauder. It's got a Dominus hitbox, and I'm a big fan of the engine noise this car makes. So it's not quite as good as the Marauder in my books, so I'll go ahead and put this one in the A tier. Let's have a look at the Vulcan now. The Vulcan looks like a small spaceship out of Star Wars. It has an Octane hitbox, so it's slightly bigger than the other cars, and I've seen some great customizations made to the Vulcan that look really cool because of its spaceship appearance. Given that these customizations can be made, I'm going to go ahead and put the Vulcan in the A tier. Zippy, you're up next. The Zippy is equipped with an Octane hitbox, and it's an okay looking car. It sounds like an electric car, and when stacked against the other cars that have appeared on the list so far, the design of this car, it's not very striking. Let's quickly get this one in the C tier. Staying in the C tier, spoilers, when you first look at Triton, you'd think this is exactly what the Speed Racer would drive. This spaceship looking car has an Octane hitbox, and in my opinion, isn't the greatest looking vehicle in the game. In fact, I really don't like how this one looks. If you're into the spaceship look, I suggest the Vulcan or Aftershock. I'm going to steer clear of this one and already, like I said, put this in the C tier. Now, the Grog is a cool car, but it has a few practical issues. Like, where is the window on this car? Like, how does the driver even see anything outside? I mean, I have so many questions. Aside from the obvious functional issues, the engine sounds like it should be taken to the mechanic immediately. Aesthetics and real-world functionality aside, the one thing that the Grog has going for it is its Octane hitbox. I'm sorry though, you guys, that's just not enough to get the Grog any higher than the B tier. Let's do a Hot Wheels licensed car now. The Twin Mill 3. This battle car, at first glance, kind of looks like a take on the Batfleck Batmobile. Just like the Batmobile, this car is also a plank hitbox and feels great to handle during a match. It's a cool looking car with potential to look even cooler if you have some great customizing skills. Twin Mill 3 ends up in the S tier for me. I really like the look of this car. Okay, next up is the Takumi, and I'm gonna say it now. This may cause some of you to rise up in the comments and tell me I'm wrong, but remember, this list is just an opinion, and there's a vast amount of opinions on these cars out there. So here's my gripe with the car. It looks boring to me. I'm sorry. You can make it look better by customizing it, but if you're paying money for a DLC, I would expect it to look amazing as is. Sorry Takumi fans, this one is going into the C tier for me. I will recognize that this car is very underrated. We did a video on underrated cars, and without giving too much away, the Takumi does appear on there. Check it out by clicking or tapping the car on your screen. Time to look at the Esper. Equipped with a hybrid hitbox, Esper is a car that mixes modern with vintage vibes. I mean, just look at it. It looks like the result of a tractor, Ford Model T, and a hot rod all had a baby together. There's even a few subtle touches that make this car really special. The weird acceleration sound that it makes, the buggish front wheels, and the way the hatch opens when it speeds up is really cool. I have to admit, it's a silly car, but Rocket League at its best is when cars are silly and funky looking. You know what? I like this one. Get it up there in the S tier with the rest. Before we go on to our final two cars, we want to thank you guys for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and click or tap that bell to get notified about our latest videos. Also, hit the like button. This lets us know that you want to see more content just like this. Now let's get to those last two cars, starting with the Scarab. The Scarab car looks fairly small, but it has the same hitbox as the most popular car in the game, the Octane. It looks like an RC car that probably shouldn't have made it through Psyonix's final cuts of which cars were going to make it into the game. Its handling is alright, but for some reason it doesn't seem as fast when you play with it. On top of that, it seems so light that I'm always scared that if other cars hit me, I'll just fly out of the stadium. Okay, now let's stop trolling in the comments, guys. I see you, phony Scarab fans. This car doesn't deserve to go anywhere above C tier. And finally, the Dominus. The Dominus is a muscle car with a noisy engine, and if you're anything like me, someone who loves muscle cars, then you're going to love the Dominus. The engine is noisy and tries to give the car this hefty feel, which is great if you want that look and style to a car, but still move just as quickly as the other cars in the pitch. Obviously, this one is a Dominus hitbox, and it feels great to handle. I can't say it's quite S tier, but we're ending on a positive note here and putting this guy in the A tier. And those were our rankings, guys. Which cars would you move up or down? Let us know in the comments down below. Check out our other videos. Be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell to be notified about our latest videos.